NFR.
NFR Extra is a podcast dedicated to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo and features icons and personalities that embody the Western lifestyle.
They don't have the rodeo billboards up, but it's all still here. And yeah, you roll up to the Thomas and Mack, and this is pretty iconic building. You know, kind of when it's all over. However it all plays out, I really don't think a number of buckles really defines who you are and or what you're all about. But kind of when it's all over, I just really like to say that Zeke Thurston was a good guy. I'd like to be somebody that you'd want your kids to look up to or to grow up and be like. And it doesn't really matter what time of year it is. You get an opportunity to win, you damn sure better capitalize on it. And even if you don't have the greatest opportunity to win, you still better go out there and try to make the best of it.
This is Brylan Bentley, and you're listening to NFR Extra.
So this is a first for all of us because we're doing our first podcast from inside the Thomas and Mack. There's no dirt in the arena. There's no chutes. So we're all here for the first time where there is zero NFR preparation going on. But we're joined by four-time world champion Zeke Thurston. And Zeke, this is becoming an old hat for you. We just keep welcoming you back. You want to keep doing this?
Yeah, I would. I sure like to. It's it's not a bad place to be.
All right. So with that in mind, I don't want to go back to the very beginning, but do you have we've talked to Wags about this before. Is there a number that you have in mind as far as world championships go? Is there a certain goal you're trying to meet, or what's on your mind as far as that goes?
I've never really put a number on it. I've just always kind of just really wanted to go out there and, I always knew from a young age that I was going to be a world champion. I don't know if that sounds cocky or arrogant or whatever you want to say, but I always figured that was just my dream and I was going to make it happen no matter what. I didn't know it was going to happen as fast as it did. And then, and after I got one, I wanted more of them, but they just keep coming, and we'll just see how far we can take it.
That's not a bad deal.
No.
I'm going to piggyback on what Andy said, man, but pulling up to the Thomas Mack, usually the vibe between December when it is cool outside and everything is set up and you pull up and it's hot and there's nothing here. Do you still get any kind of the things to where it's like you're still pulling up the Thomas and Mack? What was that like pulling up? Because we're all in the bus getting in there and it's like, oh, here's the Thomas and Mack.
Yeah, well, honestly, I flew in today and for the last 9 years, we spent 2 weeks, 15, 16 days in Vegas, every December. And, we flew in today, and it's almost like you never left, It's everything's still the same, They don't have the rodeo billboards up, but it's all still here. And, yeah, you roll up to the Thomas and Mack, and this is pretty iconic building,
Do you get a little pumped, though? Is that kind of like, oh, man, Thomas and Mack, like...
It just makes me excited to get back here.
I'm shooting for December. That's
yes,
cool.
Sir.
Yeah. So what did you do for the 9 years? You're 2 weeks here, and you're kind of a dork today. It sounds like it just went full-fledged tourist mode.
Oh, yeah. I've been to the Hoover Dam. I was taking pictures, jumping off the sidewall, doing heel clicks, all sorts of stuff.
Now, hold on. You're not a dork if you see a bighorn. Have you ever seen a bighorn while you've been out here?
Not here, no.
They're pretty incredible, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
I've seen a bighorn, but
actually could have shot one with my bow for sure because it was like 3 yards from me.
Yeah, that might affect
hit
your
that one.
Future.
I don't know if they'd like that in the national park, though.
Frowned upon, maybe. I don't know.
Possibly.
Well,
Whatever.
And I think one of the videos he got, one of the bighorns was getting a little frisky, so I don't know if he can even share that on social.
He was getting jiggy, that guy.
Some National Geographic stuff right there, baby.
Straight up.
Yeah. All right, back to saddle bronc riding.
Heck of a segue,
yeah,
Steve.
He's wearing he's got MeatEater on his shirt, so we can kind of skew off of the beaten path a little bit. But how'd you get hooked up with MeatEater?
They came to me.
Really?
Yep. Yeah. About this time last year, they were looking to kind of cross over with rodeo, and it's actually been a really good crossover, and they were they're looking for a bronc rider or somebody in that field, and they found me, and here we are.
So
They're awesome guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
really
you're
cool.
talking about shooting with your bow. That was that an attraction for them too, as well as you having kind of that diversification from rodeo and hunting, or no?
I think so a little bit. Yeah, they I think they did their homework a little bit. And
Yeah.
I obviously like to hunt, and come from an agricultural ranching background where, hunting is kind of
Part of the deal.
especially in Canada.
Yeah.
In Alberta, everybody hunts.
Yeah.
we got. It's kind of known for big game up there. We got all the deer species and bears and wolves and coyotes and all this stuff. So just kind of grew up doing it.
How does that coincide with your rodeo schedule?
Yeah, the rodeo takes away from the hunting quite a bit. There will be a day that I'll get to do a lot more of it for sure. But it's not this day.
Right.
Is there something you're chasing more than, are you elk versus deer or any certain species you like more than another?
Just kind of all of it. The elk hunting is really fun in the rut. You get the bulls bugling and coming in. Yeah, they're pretty cool. But it's all fun.
When does that open up in Canada?
Like your bow season will start September 1st,
yep.
and carry through the end of October, and then rifle season's all in November.
Just like in Montana.
Yes, sir. Very similar.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy too. Like when you're talking about being in rut, when you're out there and you hear them bugling, I mean that's a pretty wild experience.
Yeah. I actually went down. I went to Bozeman in November and did. We're going to shoot an episode for MeatEater, and we're going to go on a waterfowl hunt. We're going to hunt some geese, and so we set up. We get out there 4:00 in the morning. We get the headlamps on, and me and Steve are pulling out the bags of decoys and made a mess of those, tangle them up, rat's nest, ruining the duck hunters or these guys' setup. They got their system, and we're just right in there like a dirty shirt, making a mess of it. And anyways, we get settled in, and I shot one goose. We shot one goose, and I got to shoot it. One goose. Yeah. One dumb. They changed flight paths. Nothing came in. One poor lone guy. He was looking, heard us honking. I got to shoot him. That was the only thing we shot at all day.
That's it.
But it was still fun.
That's
it
why
was a blast.
It's called hunting and not shooting. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Gosh.
What as far as like your deal with Rinella, it's funny too because if you are in, most rodeo guys are into hunting and outdoors. Like we coincide the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation Hunter Christmas with the Cowboy Christmas and everything for that whole entire deal like that. But it's funny how like when you're in that, MeatEater is like a huge deal. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, Steve Rinella, like that's rad." And you listen to the podcast, you watch the TV show, and during COVID, that's what my son had MeatEater. Like, I was sick of watching it, but it was pretty cool because it was like it really does entice that deal to where a totally different way of life that a lot of people don't know about. And so I think the crossover between rodeo and that to where you're going to get some people that hunt. I mean, not everybody that rodeos hunts and not everybody that hunts rodeos, but you're going to get a lot of the hunters kind of maybe intrigued in the rodeo side too.
Oh, for sure. I would say like of, kind of all of my friends and especially the bronc riding, group of guys that I would probably 75% or more of them would do some form of hunting and or outdoor, type activities and stuff. And it is a super cool crossover. And the MeatEater guys, they're cool because they're, it's kind of like rodeo. They're unapologetically hunters,
Right.
It's like, this is what we do. We go and we harvest this animal and then, we eat them, and that's where we get our value from.
Well, and to me, it's so awesome to see it. Some of the winter fairs and rodeos, they feel the same way about agriculture.
Absolutely.
Like they're not afraid to show you, hey, this is how you get your food.
It's
like
the same way. Yep.
There's someone that either grew it or is raising these animals, and we're not going to apologize for it because every day people have to eat, and somebody has to help provide that for you in order to facilitate that. It doesn't just come from a grocery store.
Well, it's super cool because, yeah, exactly. Like there's a lot of the population that don't know where their food comes from, and
the grocery store.
Yeah,
Right.
What do you mean?
You get a supermarket hitman. Like I show up and I buy my ribeyes, right? Like,
Yeah.
But there's quite a bit that goes into it before they end up on your plate.
100%.
It's it's just educating people, really.
Right.
Houston Rodeo does a phenomenal job with that connection, whether it's actually the agricultural side or even the Born to Buck programs and everything that they have there. So those that are listening, always feel free to check out those opportunities.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of food, you've been feasting each and every time you come to the National Finals Rodeo. And I don't know what it's like for you, but standing beside watching those 10 rounds, it just seemed like you caught a stride, and at some point in time, no one was going to catch you. Do you feel that as you're riding, or is it just one of those things where you're trying to take it one day at a time?
Yeah, it's more just, you got to go take care of the job that's in front of you. It's a long week, and there's, anything can happen. I've been here enough times that I've had multiple, scenarios play out, and come in with a great chance to win the world, and have quite a bit of money won on the rest of the pack, and sucked it up all week, and let it slip by. And I've also come down to the 10th round and bucked off to win a world title, and I've also won 4 of them. So it's like I said, there's a lot of different things that can happen out here. So you just show up and you try to ride each bronc that they draw you the very best you can, and at the end of the week they'll tell you who wins, I guess, and that's kind of how I go about it.
Were there any of those rides that stuck out to you more than another?
Are we talking this year?
Yes, this year. Yeah.
Okay. Not really. I had a really good finals. Probably the kind of the clincher maybe would have been I split round. I can't remember. I think I won 3 or 4 rounds, but I won the ninth round. Calgary horses, Zach Kibitz. I won the 9th round, and that kind of gave me the boost. It was pretty tight going all the way up there. Me and Sage and Cade Bruno were kind of neck and neck, and Cade, he slipped up one of them rounds. I think it might have been the 9th round or 7th round, and so he was kind of out of it, and then it was kind of between me and Sage, and then after that 9th round win, it kind of gave me a little bit of a catapult, and then basically coming in round 10, I just had to stay on and get a score.
Does day-to-day look different for you when you're here in Las Vegas versus a Houston or San Antonio or any of those Calgary rodeos when it comes to preparation?
Preparation-wise, I would say there's probably a little more. There's a little more prep here at the finals for sure. You're really trying to make sure everything's in tip-top shape and stuff. But as far as the other rodeos, you prepare yourself as much as you can, but you're kind of at those rodeos. You're in and out. You show up for 4 or 5 days and riding your set, and then you're gone. Where here you show up for 2 weeks, so you kind of bring everything you need and get yourself set up and make the best of the week.
No.
Do you feel like there's a time of year that kind of helps set your year up? Because we've talked to different people who, they set a winter goal for themselves, or they want to do, this much in earnings before they get to Reno. I mean, is there a certain section of the year that you feel like, hey, this is when I really make hay?
Man, like I said, I've done it long enough now. I've seen it all. I've went through the winter and just absolutely, smoked them and come out of the winter with, 100,000. I've went through the winters and, come out of there with maybe, 10,000. And same thing with the summer or fall, vice versa. I've had really good falls and won really good at them big, Northwest rodeos. And then I've also went out there and just kind of picked and choose and, got by too. So it's just it's just all about staying consistent and trying to ride your horses the best you can. It doesn't really matter what time of year it is. You get an opportunity to win, you damn sure better capitalize on it. And even if you don't have the greatest opportunity to win, you still better go out there and try to make the best of it.
How much attention do you pay to? I mean, the bronc riders are kind of unique. Rodeo's unique in and of itself, but how much attention do you pay to the guys that you're competing with at other rodeos?
Like pay attention to them, like what they're doing or
what
how
they're doing.
doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not a lot.
Yeah.
I just kind of do my own thing. I kind of know what works for me. I've kind of got it, kind of down to where I can, show up and, I have a pretty decent idea before I get on, how it's going to go. Depending on what I've drawn, I have a decent idea whether I'm going to place or not. and you'll surprise yourself. You might fall off a really good one and mess up a great opportunity, or you might have one that you didn't think you were going to win anything on, and you might win the whole rodeo. So it's just like I said, just every scenario is different, and you really never know what's going to happen.
I had one thing that you said last year, and I don't remember a whole lot very well at all, but one thing that stuck with me that you said last year, it was kind of wild because, in my opinion, watching the saddle bronc riding, I'm sorry, this would have been in 22. It was, I felt as a spectator watching this that you kind of snuck in and then like, oh man, Zeke's really going to do it. And I asked you, I said, well, when did you think you really had a shot at winning the world? And you're like, as soon as I knew I qualified. I mean, that to me was kind of the deal. Like, yeah, jump for jump, time for time. But that mental fortitude that you have is like, no, if I'm there, I got as good a shot of winning this thing as anybody else. Probably better than most.
Absolutely. I mean, if you make it here, there's been guys come from 14th all the way to first. Spencer Wright did that 2014. Come from the very back to win the world. I think at 22, I think I was maybe 6th. Yeah. In the world, but I come from 116,000 back, which is a fair bit.
Wow. Newman had a large lead coming in.
Yeah, Stetson and Sage, they kind of hogged all the money throughout the regular season, and that's probably my favorite finals was 22. I showed up here, and I got it rolling. I won the first round, and I didn't win. That was last year. I won the first round. I can't remember. It just kicked off good, and just went rolling, and same thing. I won 3 rounds, I think, that year, and that was my best finals. I think I come out of there with 256,000.
That's not bad.
Let's take a quick pause, and we'll be right back. Looking to rope in some news and features you can't find anywhere else? Then look no further than the series of blogs at nfrexperience.com. You'll find customized content from experts in all things rodeo and Las Vegas. There's the NFR Insider, The Mental Game, and One-on-One with Susan Canode, Gold Buckle Buzz with Brian Hurlburt, NFR Experience with Patrick Everson, and the Junior World Finals with Jack Nowlin. There's something for all rodeo fans. Check it out at nfrexperience.com. The biggest stage, the brightest lights, the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo.
You talk about winning rounds. Talk about what the money actually means here in Las Vegas once you get here, because there's a lot happening, but those round wins, the new contract, you guys are going to be making a pretty penny by the middle of it. Let's talk a little bit about that. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot because this is how I make my living, my livelihood. This is how I provide for my family, and a lot of people kind of view rodeo cowboys maybe as like gypsies that are just kind of cruising around having fun, and but that's not the case when you're at our level, and you can make decent money as a rodeo cowboy nowadays, and it's only getting better, and I only foresee it to keep getting better, and it's gotten to a point where a guy can really make real money and set themselves up, and so it's super nice.
So I want to talk about your literal journey to this building each and every night. Have you ever been late? Because
okay. I think I was late for the first round last year. I was the last one in the locker room there. Everybody was going out to get on the grand entry horse.
So is there a reason, or you just...
Well, I didn't know that President Biden was in town, and they had the airport road shut down, and I couldn't get around it. I was just staying right here on the other side of the airport. Freaking took me 45 minutes to drive 3 miles.
He's all, I'm going to have to run, guys.
Yeah.
Can you come get me with a golf cart or something?
Sleepy Joe was sleeping on the road.
Just one more thing to the con list. Held up world champion.
There's been a passport blocked at the border. No, that's always, to me, like, I would be a nervous wreck because, like, it doesn't matter the size of the airport. I'm at the gate an hour and a half early. Like, the gate agents know me because they're like, this guy, why are you here so early? Well, you're not leaving without me, okay? So I'm always intrigued as to how laissez-faire or how strict people are with their travel routines, because the closer you get to start time, the tighter traffic gets, especially that time of year.
Well, and he's got a little bit of time. Like, I mean, he could get fined and miss grand entry, and it would be a whole ordeal. But think about the bareback riders. Like, they better be on the back of them bucking chutes. It could get messy quick.
Oh, for sure. And, yeah, I'm a pretty pretty easygoing guy. I try not to get too worked up about much, and you know, knock on wood, I haven't missed one yet, but I mean that could happen.
And you pack your family down here for the duration too, don't you?
Oh yeah,
yeah. So that's how's that dynamic? I mean, that's got to be a pretty settling deal to be able to have the wife and kids here with you while you're doing.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a lot of fun. You know, the first couple of years I made it, we didn't have any kids, and so we you know, we're just a couple, and we'd kick it in the casinos and stay up late, and, you know, and have fun and do that whole deal. And yeah, it's a little different look nowadays. We got bushwhacker bull toys laying all over.
Yeah.
And we got to get Airbnb with a pool in the backyard so we can wear them out, and, you know, it's full contact around there, but it's a lot of fun. It's really fun to be able to share it with them, you know, and like my daughter Lucy, she's getting old enough now. She'll be 6 here in August, and she knows the bucking horses, and she pays attention. She understands what's going on, and yes, it's a lot of fun. Actually, I think it was eighth or ninth round, whatever round, Cade Bruno missed out Cloudy Skies. They're sitting my wife and kids were sitting in the stands here before it started, and they're going through the program, and Lucy's like she's asking Jane what everybody had or whatever, and she's kind of telling her, and she said, Cade Bruno has Cloudy Skies, and she said, Cloudy Skies? She said, Mom, is that the horse that bucked my dad off at the Canadian finals? She said, yeah, it is. She said, well, if my dad couldn't ride it, Cade definitely can't.
Out of the mouth of babes.
Oh, yeah. No joke.
And that's why she gets whatever she wants.
Oh.
I had to go to the locker room the next day and tell Cade.
Yeah. But I've also got to think it's got to give you a fresh perspective, because Steve and I have also talked about like traveling with our families so that they understand what Dad does. You know, like my proudest thing is when you go home and your kids, you know, I don't ever like to quote unquote brag or talk to people about what I do, but when your kids go home and they're like, oh, Dad does this, you know, I mean, it does give you a sense of pride. Oh, for sure. And like I said, like Lucy, especially, like she's a point where she understands and like she knows what's going on, and it's like she knows that I'm pretty successful at it. She knows that I do well. She sees the people coming up, get my autographs and taking pictures, and she's been there for the whole thing, you know, and so she's big dad fan, you know. She's team dad, and yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's well, maybe one night or, you know, a few nights that we don't get to go to the South Point and get a buckle there. She'll be like, why aren't we going there? Why don't you win, Dad? You know, what the hell? Come on. Yeah. Step it up. I want to go get a buckle. Yeah.
So where's the limo? Where's the stage?
Yeah, I like to get on that stage.
This is your fault.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though. That's, yeah, the fact that they're at that age, too, to where they can really kind of appreciate it and see what it is that you're doing. I mean, in all honesty, what a unique and amazing way to be able to make a living, like you said, for your family, doing something you absolutely love.
Oh, absolutely. And then to share it with them, you know, and that's probably like my biggest motivator nowadays is to be able to like share with my kids, you know, kind of what I do and you know, like what it takes to get there, and how you know just how hard work and, you know, perseverance you can accomplish about anything you want. You know, you stick your mind to it, and, you know, just be consistent and put the work in. And it's a lot of fun to, you know, show them and kind of model to them, and I can see it in their lives. To, you know, as they're getting older, I can kind of see them picking up on it. So that's kind of what gets me going nowadays.
Right.
So to kind of bring it full circle from where we started, talking about if there was a goal in mind as to how many world titles you want, how do you keep your knife sharp after winning 4 world titles? Because to me, that's when people talk about dynasties in sports, you know, that's always the hardest thing is life changes, things change, goals change, you know, your position in what you're doing changes, but you're an independent contractor. You and what you draw dictates your success. So how do you keep yourself sharp?
Yeah, just, you know, I think just the drive to be, you know, as good as I can possibly be. And there's days you don't really want to get up and get in the gym or maybe get on your spur board or, you know, do what you need to do. But that's just part of it. That's what it takes. You know, there's days I don't want to drive 22 hours to go to a rodeo and get on a bucking horse. I'd rather stay at home, you know. But, you know, if I don't, there's
a lot of guys staying at home right now too.
Oh, for sure, But like I said, it probably nowadays my biggest motivator is getting to share that with my kids and my family, and just having them be a part of it. And I've been doing it long enough. I kind of know what works for me, and I kind of know how to get there. Like it's not a guarantee, and it's a grind every year. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of hours that goes into it, but the end result is pretty rewarding.
What are you looking at? Do you have any, I don't want to say exit strategy, because obviously you're pretty much in your prime, rocking and rolling right now. But when it's all said and done, what's the end goal of what you want to be doing?
Kind of when it's all over, however it all plays out, I really don't think a number of buckles really defines who you are, or what you're all about. But kind of when it's all over, I just really like to say that Zeke Thurston, was a good guy. I'd like to be somebody that you'd want your kids to look up to or to grow up and be like, and that's just kind of, as far as an exit strategy, I don't really know. I don't think I'm gonna stick around, past my prime for darn sure, but I got some good years left in me for sure.
For sure, yeah. Like I said, you're in the prime now, and it's not one of those things like, I tell you what, I'm gonna do 2 more years of this, and then I'm gonna have cut it in half and try to make it one more time. I mean, you're full steam ahead right now, but that seems like the kind of the ranching type deal, hunting. Maybe who knows? Might be the next MeatEater co-host. Or
absolutely.
Crazy
I got big plans for after rodeo and a lot of things I like to do, and but anytime you make your living with your body, you got a shelf life. So
yeah,
I figure I better take advantage of it while I can and stuff. But things are going. Have been going well enough throughout my career that we've got a decent size operation at home now, and there's quite a bit going on there too. So it's a bit of a juggling act, but I think we're doing all right so far.
Any all-around aspirations? Are we going to see in the team roping or the tie-down roping?
Man, I would love to. I'd love to. I don't really know. It'd be hard to get a team roping partner that would be okay, that ropes good enough that I could win with them, that would be okay with me showing up once every 10 rodeos,
Yeah. You got my horse, right?
Those people are hard to find. Yeah, and also bring me my horse.
Yeah.
And maybe a set of spurs.
Yeah. Is he warm or no?
Yeah. Maybe warm him up, too, because I got to ride my bronc first.
Would that not be hilarious, though? Like, you ride in the box, and you're like, hey, you got a glove?
Yeah. Oh, I've done that. I do that at Pendleton every year. I always enter Pendleton in the team roping.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah. I love it. It's so fun.
With who?
Oh, various different people.
Is it a coin flip, or is it like a spinning wheel, like Wheel of Fortune or something, where it's like, all right, who's it land on?
Just any one of my rough stock friends that ropes pretty decent, Me and Clay went 2 or 3 times. Clay Elliott. Me and Trey Benton went a couple times. Last year I roped with Sawyer Erickson.
Bigelow can stick it on some.
Bigelow's good. He usually finds somebody to get entered with. But yeah, we have a lot of fun doing that. I like running them down on the grass.
Yeah.
It's a little Western. That's my style.
Cool. So do you, how does the horse situation work? Are you are you planning ahead of time, or is it, all right, who's here and who can I get on?
Well, yeah, luckily I've really good friends in this industry. So, if I'm healing, I've, Trey Yates has let me ride his horse quite a few times. I used to ride his horse back in college, and we'd swap mounts back then. We called rodeo together. Kyle Lockett, he's always there for me. Derek Begay, one of my very best buddies, and Derek, I was riding his horse that he rode here in the Thomas and Mack in Pendleton. Wow, that's pretty dang cool.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, Begay is I'm a fangirl for Begay, dude. Yeah. Like, Begay is one of the coolest freaking dudes.
That dude's a weapon.
100%. Rank. Double dirty rank, but a cool dude.
Cowboy.
100%. Like that Yeti.
K-O-W. Cowboy.
Cowboy.
Well, the crazy thing, too, is, the coolest thing is, even when you're his friend, he's still kind of slightly standoffish.
I want to be his friend so bad.
You know what I mean? You go have a conversation with him, and you feel like, hey, we just had a moment, and he'll just ride off. I mean, it was
in the sunset.
You'll never forget it. And he's like, well, it's just a Tuesday.
For me.
I mean,
that Yeti deal that that was one of the coolest things. I watch that all the time.
He's built for the wild.
Yeah.
He is 100% a rank dude.
Yeah, I'll never ride a buffalo.
But yeah, not only that, or his horse for that matter. But
I will. Probably again.
To my point on that side is how cool that is. To where he's like, here you go.
Well, actually, Derek was trying to line us up a horse, and I don't think he really wanted to ride that horse. He didn't. I don't think he damn sure didn't want me to ride that horse. And we couldn't find him out, so he's like, we'll just ride my bay mare. So we just swapped stirrups and both rode her.
Thank you.
A little intense.
Well, we've covered a lot today, and this has been outstanding. From bighorn sheep to buffalo, we really appreciate your time, Zeke, and we're looking forward to seeing that 10th qualification and maybe gold buckle number 5. So thank you for your time, and thank you for being with us here on NFR Extra.
Hey, thank you for having me, and I like the sounds of that last line you said.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Yeah. I mean, 50% is not a bad number when you look at those
Hall of
stats.
Fame if you
I
play
didn't think about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah. Only 50%. Zeke Thurston, ladies and gentlemen.
Adios.
Want to experience more of the NFR? Then visit NFRexperience.com, and we invite you to subscribe to NFR Extra on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you're listening right now. If you like what you've heard on NFR Extra, we would love it if you gave us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe.